Alright, hello everyone, my name is Disc. In today's video we have a 21 Windrunner Spire. We had 0 deaths and a minute 40 left on the clock at the end of the dungeon. So near flawless, great upgrade for the channel. Did a runner last week, but this is an upgrade, so fair game. Better Blizz plates for nameplates, Ellesmere's UI for raid frames, and we want to focus our Restless Steward here in the beginning. Dot and Penance is pretty much always my first two I open with. Mass Dispel early. Single Dispel followed by a Pain Sup on the second round of Magic Dots. I'm focusing hard on the Steward. So potentially a slightly better timed uppies would have been against the group AoE from the mages. We are tracking that timer on their nameplate, but we're A-okay. So best word of wisdom there is play your Desperate Prayer early, play your Fade early, play Mass Dispel on top of at least 2 Magic Dots, and be very, very quick with your single Dispel and heals.
Teresa was the peacekeeper of our family. She spent many days tending to the gardens here.
So we do have fear opportunities in these hallways. I'd say with these birds, 2 very important things to think about. Either a quick fear or a quick heal. And it looks like my focus is on the groundskeeper here. Probably would be better to be on the bird or the steward. And so also when it comes to dispelling, like man, the Demon Hunter and the Aug picked, I kind of quickly think about who is more squishy, potentially who's been targeted more than the next person. There's my Fear Bomb. Yeah, and I believe I was on the wrong target here the whole time. But I'm just a priest. It'd be a lot bigger of a deal if I were one or a DPS. Okay, we do have a steward in this pull. Looks like I got it this time. And I wanted to say in last pull, I believe we have fairly quick poison dispels here, which is really what we need. I've had people argue me on that one, saying that poison dispels are a healer's mechanic. Not when you're a priest. I would definitely say in a group like this, you have to have at least 1 poison remove in party. I really don't like doing Spire without at least 1.5. So all of these dispels, the magics and the poisons, they're testing our reaction time. So I would say you definitely want to know what's coming in a pull and be primed for that spellcast. So my keybind for Dispel, heavy on my mind. So here's a meld. I would say that's a very, very important meld to get. Refresh my palm. Always something I do out of combat. And I open here before too many are engaged. Really all I'm thinking about is getting as much dot spread as possible. Actually, I'm not casting any dots. So generally before a pull fully engages, I like to focus on dot spread. This is not too big of a pull. But we have the Lasher here in the middle. I saw Zephyr go out, and AMZ. So I hold back on all of my spells. I just counter this first attack with a Mind Blast. It's really all you need. So we had all of our party spells used already. I'm likely to use my uppies next. Radiance into uppies, countering the Lasher's attack. And just because we have to heal doesn't mean we shouldn't try and cue our Fear Bomb too. So I'm in melee, waiting for the attack from the birds. And you're covered. So here comes the attack from the Lasher. Goes without saying. Definitely want to cue a Fade on top of every single one. Potentially a Desperate Prayer as well. This was a little bit of an off-cycle evangelism, if you will. Didn't really want to play one there, but I really felt like we needed it. Also,
Well now.
so here comes a Meld starting RP. Also, I'd be curious to watch this back myself. How long have I been sitting on PI? Because I might have missed one up here. Still have my fear. So really all I'm doing to maximize my fear here is with X-Boss, I have all of these trash attacks disabled except for the Fire Spit. So as soon as I hear any sort of sound, I just react with my fear. Okay, let's watch this first one. While I can cast, I try and cast. Playing Fade, obviously. And we got through with just Fade. So attack as much as I can. All I'm tracking is the Burning Gale. You get one Mind Blast in between the Burning Gales, but we definitely want a Mind Blast on the Burning Gale. And this 2-target cleave doesn't really hurt that bad, as long as you're quick to react. Fade is used. Evangelism. Something I'm trying to get better with, and I did it there, is I discount the instant cast radiance that come from evangelism, and I've been trying to not discount them, and I think I used it there to help us get through. Just a little bit of an overzealous, I suppose, radiance, just using it for its upfront heals. Okay, we have the 2-target cleave. I would say the best thing you can do is just react quickly. Here comes a Gale. We have PI. We're going to want Fade. Looks like I took a Pain Sup as well. Casting while I can stand still. Banking things like Penance for moving. And I've said it before, but definitely, I guess I can try and focus on it here. I just did it back there, but, you know, Void Shield hits 3 people. During the Gale like that, the tank is the last person who needs to get healed. So I'm pretty much casting Void Shields on others. And then I try and watch for whom in the party was not shielded and give them a flash shield. Or give them a penance, something like that. Okay, last skill, we just got uppies. Have to be really careful with uppies though, because you can get fucked up. Okay, so even though this is my uppies round, I delay it, play death on the way up, and cross the attack. And we're good. That was
She
clean.
reminds me of Arisa.
It's really what we needed. 0 deaths, 23-20 on the timer.
Let's find the
Demon
next
Hunter in the lead by a little bit. Death Knight trailing right behind him. Typing in party, I need mana soon. I would say we're pretty safe with mana, even though I'm at 0,
She gave
because we have
everything to
meld.
the task, including her life.
And I guess this worked out. We had to wait for the patrol. Let's see, looking at the avoidable damage, looks like I'm on top. I think all three of us down there, none of us have taken a lot of avoidable. It's just 3 of us have taken something. I'm not sure what hit me.
She trained with a bow gifted by our mother. Undead
Okay, so we want to find our focus in this pull early.
anything else that belonged to her.
That was a fancy radiance. Oh yeah. So a lot of times I think you can forego picking the ideal target, because as the healer, it matters a lot less than just getting heals out. So it looks like I'm on the Fervent Apothecary right there just to get through the attack, and now I switch. But back to that fancy radiance I was talking about, you might have to rewind just to watch the start of the pull. But our Demon Hunter was walking into the doorway with our tank already in the next room. So I radianced him being in the doorway, and it kind of arced, it banked my radiance around the corner. Healed the tank too. Okay, so this, since my last video I've made some updates. We can track his attack on his nameplate. This is one that's majored to track. It's a 2-target cleave, but really the only thing that can mess you up here when mechanics overlap with it. You want to give extra love to those picked, and defensives if you're picked. I was picked pretty much instantly. Desperate Prayer and Fade. I've also worked on getting better with Shadow Mends. It was a critique of my own where I would have Shadow Mends and not use them. Here's a meld. Like, let's say if I have Shadow Mends and I give a defensive penance, I would say the better play is the Shadow Mend in an offensive penance. So I've been trying to get in better habit of playing them and looking for them. Okay, we have PI out. PI in 3. Definitely want to use it here for the uptime. Not really needed on boss, although I think we might get one on boss. And the next attack we track on nameplate about 10 seconds away. I don't think I even wait those 10 seconds for uppies. Yeah. So all we really need to counter the attack is a Mind Blast, which we're going to have. We get 1 Mind Blast per attack. The uppies, I felt like it was just more important to put it on cooldown. So I put all my dots in the field first. Gives the uppies a little bit more strength. Keeps all the dot timers refreshed from the penance bolts. So we're pretty much full mana. We're at 70%. That is plenty for this boss. Couple things I think about here is precast a Radiance on top of the Spew when I can, and every other attack hits harder from the Shriek. So every other attack you might want extra personals, you might want externals. Always precast the Mind Blast before, so that you have a penance to give right after. And that was not a successful precast. It's hard to do. Let's check the next one. I've been eating so poorly. I've got to cut it out. Okay, Mind Blast ahead of the attack. So I did get a Radiance, but it wasn't a successful precast. The idea is, if you time your Radiance just right, you can still get your move to dodge the ground attack, but your Radiance will land not as overhealing. So let's watch the next one. And I use the little bar on top of my player cast bar to help me with the precast. That one failed too. Alright, if I had to guess though, the next spew is paired with Shriek. It looks like I have Evangelism to give. Mind Blast ahead of the attack. That was the Radiance we were looking for. The idea is we want the Radiance to count 2. So Evangelism round. And I think I misunderstood the assignment a little bit. I think there's a small dance you can do. I heard people talking about it recently. If you play this fight in thirds, it's easier to manage the ground damage. And I think I started understanding that just based on how they were pinging me and everyone else's position. Let's see, I fade on top of it. Mind Blast was used ahead of time. I had an instant Radiance I used as a reaction. I need to switch targets. Yeah, he's out. Mind Blast ahead of the attack. He did just get uppies. Probably going to want to play it just for the uptime. Yep. Core almost died. I had his Shadow Mend on him, but it looked like he went out of my line of sight or something. So always thinking about it. I hate it. I'm at 20% mana. First thing I do here is refresh a palm. And it looks like they're waiting on me a little bit, which is nice, but we don't need all that. And so this pull, there's really not too much to it. We definitely want to attack the same breaker. I put a skull out. I hope the party is following. Focusing on dot spread and focusing on not getting interrupted. So if you look above my target, we have these 2 interrupting screeches. A little bit of an overzealous play of Radiance, but that's quick, reliable, instant cast, group healing. Baiting into the walls when you can. But in a group like this, I don't know a better way to track those casts other than this cast tracker, where it puts all of them on the screen. And here comes another one. Trying to fade as late as I can. Could have died. Need a dot. There we go. Also really loving my target's dot presence above my penance. Makes it a lot easier to parse out if my target has a dot.
Hunted the old horde with
I just don't think nameplates are reliable for that. I don't think nameplates are reliable really for tracking casts either. Mainly because they're moving. You know, I need to be able to see these values in a fixed location. So, yep. Okay, and unlike last video where we had deaths here, we don't have deaths this time. We have a cauterize, which is major, and I've also enabled the Flame Nova timer on enemy nameplate here. This is really major. Looks like it's slightly inaccurate, but better than nothing. And all you're watching for are overlaps. So I would say that AMZ was a little bit late, but that's okay. I had an overlap for the first Flame Nova. What we're looking at is the Flame Nova overlapping with any bleed. So I took a Desperate Prayer and a Paints Up. But we have the next Flame Nova upon us. I had another overlap. All it took was a Shadow Mend, giving Void Shields to anyone with bleeds. Largely, I would say, if you have a bleed in between Flame Novas, non-issue. Make sure you heal it, obviously. But when you have someone holding a bleed paired with a Flame Nova, you gotta be careful. So things like your own Desperate Prayer and Fade, Paints Ups. Okay, but we only have a little bit of mana. Hopefully it's enough to get through this. Mind Blast, Radiance, Defensive Penance, and Decora. We do have uppies here. A little bit of a rough start because I wasn't able to get dot spread out. All my penance were having to go defensive. Uppies. So uppies before the Flame Nova gives me a big shield on top of my double mechanic. And a lot of times in these higher keys, I think it goes for even lower keys too, things like Evangelism and uppies, you want to play them ahead of an attack. Especially in these higher keys. Because the idea is before the Flame Nova goes out, everyone's topped. You don't want to play the uppies purely as a reaction. You want some of the healing to go out before the attack, some of the healing to go out after the attack. And definitely in these higher keys, something I'm trying to get better with myself is never counting out a single shield as an extra layer of defense. So before Flame Nova goes out, even if I don't have a Void Shield, I cast a shield. And let's see, I probably do that here. So we're watching for mechanics at 66 and 33. Let's see if I place shields before those attacks. Mind Blast ahead of the jump. Radiance ahead of the jump. Defensive Penance after the jump. Paired with both personals. So I like to bait, let everyone else do their thing. I have a Void Shield on and a Void Shield in the bank. Mind Blast ahead of the attack. Radiance ahead of the attack. And react with a Void Shield. And I really didn't like that. I started thinking like, holy shit, why am I so far away from the boss each time? So I think I start changing that. But here we have 66 coming up. I put a single shield on. Mind Blast before the attack. Radiance before the attack so everyone's atoned. And unload my penance. So we're back to having overlaps. We have Flame Novas and bleeds. We can track the Flame Nova on the nameplate of the enemy. At least I thought we could. And a bleed without an overlap, non-issue. Letting my health get a little bit lower before I use my Shadow Mend. Fade before the attack, Radiance and Mind Blast before the attack. And I believe all you have to do is attack the enemy with a defensive on. I think that's all you need. Okay, the next thing we're watching for is 33. Hopefully we can see that on a nameplate soon. This one was Fade and Desperate Prayer. Getting my ass closer. Okay, we did just get PI. I believe I'm holding for the add phase. Just get good value. Mind Blast before 33. And a shield before the boom. So I already had a shield on. Gave a personal shield to Korra, who had zero shield. Yeah, that single shield, I used to count it out, but I'm trying to count it back in. And remember that we still have Wheel and Woe. And preventing spike damage is amazing. The shield itself holds a palm, which returns as healing. The atonement itself reduces damage by 3%. So things like that, making sure you get just making sure you cover people. So like if you already have a shield on, give it to someone else squishy. Aug is perfect. But there was an uppies there just for up time. Using it on the single target rather than the add phase. Desperate Prayer with a Void Shield in the bank. Shielded myself right after the attack went out. Looks like one defensive penance. Radiance Mind Blast penance for DPS. And boss just about over here. We're at 15% mana. We're going to want to refresh a palm. Okay. Palm is refreshed. Also want to play a Radiance. The reason I like doing that is the cooldown of the spell is 15 seconds. The buff it gives is 30. So you can let the spell reset while holding its buff. So let's see. Radiance. And drink. So, not too much to this fight. I think it's a lot of fun. Tracking two spells, the Arrow Rain and the... it's called Gust Shot. But I don't really use Fade on top of this Arrow Rain here in the start. Because I clear the buff so quickly. All of these are offensive penance. So one more Arrow Rain followed by a Gust Shot. And the Gust Shot, I think, is the hardest hitting attack. Definitely where you want to place defensives or evangelism or uppies. We have Zephyr running, Fade running, Mind Blast, Evangelism. And this attack, Bolt Gale, I don't see any reason on tracking its timer. It's so easy to react to and so visible. And with that one I didn't even cast a Paints Up, so I saw that the Death Knight had his own defensive running, his own personal. And I think I just gave him a Void Shield and it was game over. So here come the arrows. All I think is to clear one quickly. Doing my best not to lose casting time, even though I'm in the air. Uppies is in 35. quick kill for the Death Knight. On this Gust Shot, I did not have any sort of external. But I did pair it with Mind Blast, and that was all we needed. On the DK again. And I do Paints Up that one, arguably a little bit late. But I tossed a Paints Up that time because he did not have a personal himself. Fade here. Okay, let's see. I do have one more uppies, but I'm sure I pair it against the Gust Shot. Yeah, so here's an Evangelism. I'm just spell dumping a little bit because the next attack is queued for uppies. I can play the Evangelism here because the boss is almost dead, basically. Okay, yeah. So this is the uppies. Actually, it worked out nice. So a lot of times when you have an uppies round planned, you still have to play your Mind Blast and Penance, your Radiance. You still have to default to your base spells. But for that Gust Shot, my base spells is all we needed to counter it. I had my uppies left over. I was picking the single target attack. What better than to take that big shield from uppies against the single target for the win? So I think I'm pretty securely in the 1%. Thanks, Cora, for the run here. Yeah, it was a clean run. 0 deaths, a minute 40 left on the timer. Love to see it.
Until they return home.
Yeah, so let's see. Action bars are just action bars. Elsmir's UI for raid frames and damage meters. Better Blizz plates for nameplates. Best nameplate add-on in the game. X-Boss for tracking enemy cooldowns on their nameplate. And check me out on Metafy if you're interested in any WoW coaching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, Disc out.